This is the 16th of December, and we're going to get some kale and some parsley, which we have here in the garden. Pretty much everything's completely done except for the kale and the parsley. The ground is like concrete, but the frozen kale is fine. It's nice. There's no bugs. It's really, it's a treat. Whew. Save the rest, I think, for Christmas. Whatever is left over from this, we can freeze and use it in stock over the winter. Okay. So now we're going to make a kale chorizo soup. We picked the kale, we picked the parsley. That's this stuff here. We're going to wash it. Other ingredients, of course, are chorizo, which some people think is fatty, but all the rendered fat comes to the top of the soup, and it's very easy to scrape off. So the soup actually is not fatty at all when it's consumed. And we have potatoes. These are from the garden. Still have some peppers. They're a little shriveled, hot peppers. If you don't like hot peppers, don't put them in. I still found some thyme out there. Dried thyme is all you need. Garlic. This is a hardneck. We even have our own little bay tree, which got so big after 3 years, bringing it in. It can't go below 40 degrees. That I finally couldn't get it in the house this year, so I had to whack the top off. So I had a plethora of bay leaves, and this is one little branch, what's left of it. And when you have your own bay leaves, you realize why recipes call for 1 bay leaf. I always end up putting in 3 or 4 until we had our own tree. Now it's fabulous. It's really fabulous. So the ingredients are basically chorizo and potatoes, equal parts, a cup of onion. I like a lot of garlic, so I'm going to say 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons might be all you want. Some hot pepper. If you don't like hot pepper, don't use it. Thyme, bay leaf, and the vehicle is chicken stock, but we just had a lot of stock left over from the turkeys at Thanksgiving, so I'm using turkey stock because it's hearty and it really will hold up. It's not as versatile as chicken stock because it is a lot more pungent, but it really does hold up with this. So that's it. As I said, we're going to wash our kale and our parsley. I'll fill the sink, and why don't we get started? It's very simple to put this together. I'm just going to dump our parsley and kale in this sink. Just get it over here to the cutting board. And you don't want the stems. So I just cut down along the side of the stem. Some people fold it in half. I don't find that to be any quicker. Aroma is really to die for here. This straight out of the garden. And again, it's the 16th of December. I've gone out in January, pushed the snow away, cut the last few pieces of kale. All right, so that's the kale. This is compost. I have a wonderful chopper. This really speeds it up. So I think we're just about there. Eight cups here. So now we'll do our onion quick. Coarse dice is all you really want. So now we're going to cut up this garlic. This was harvested in June. It's still quite firm. It does have a few sprouts. You want to dig those out because they're actually kind of bitter. A little better dice. If you're going to use dried red pepper, these are actually our red peppers. If you chop them with onions or garlic, the moisture of the onion and garlic prevent the little flakes from flying all over the place. Now, I don't know how hot these are. They may not be hot at all. They're not. They're sweet. But I think we should use them because they're so shriveled up. It's great to have peppers from the garden in December. These go into the pot at different times, so I'm going to keep them separate. Okay, now we're going to just chop up this chorizo. There's nothing to it, but as I said, I like to remove the casings. I don't. It's not anything personal. It's just that sometimes when you have little tiny pieces, because you're slicing them into coins, the casing can sometimes shrivel up. Okay, so now we're going to peel our potatoes, which again is just more tedious. Same amount of potatoes as we have chorizo. Here's that parsley. This was right out of the garden. And what we really picked a lot more than we're going to be using here, so I'll freeze the rest and we'll use that for stock. That's going to be enough. All that's left now is to cut up the potatoes, which we washed and put into a colander. And these you just want good sized chunks, I'd say. Chunks that you can get on your spoon. We finally got everything prepared. So we have a whole head of garlic, so it's about 7-8 cloves. If you don't like garlic, use half of that, with some red pepper chopped in it and some hot pepper. Chorizo has a bit of spice to it, so I'm glad I didn't put too much in. I love it, but other people don't. We have 1 large Spanish onion, 6-7 cups of chorizo. We've got a couple of bay leaves, some fresh thyme. You can use dried thyme. We've got fresh parsley. I wouldn't recommend dried parsley. Fresh kale, definitely has to be fresh kale. There is no other, no frozen kale. Even though this is out in the garden and it is December 16th and it was 24 degrees today and it was about 17 degrees last night, I still consider this to be fresh kale. I mean, look at this. It's fabulous. It tastes great. It smells great. And there are no bugs. And then we have our potatoes. These are about the same proportion of potatoes to chorizo. And I'd say almost the same proportion of kale. Kale's a little more, but it's going to cook down. So why don't we get started?